so that if we decide in the future that we want to shut it down, we can make 6 phone calls to Fidelity, BlackRock, all the, and say, give everybody back their cash and send the Bitcoin to us, 6102.
Hey guys, welcome back to Everyday Finance. In this video, Larry Lepard discusses Bitcoin and crypto. Throughout his journey, Larry has been well informed about Bitcoin, thanks to his association with individuals like Raoul Pal and other knowledgeable individuals in the field. There was a woman who worked with him on some projects, including creating advertisements for Raoul Pal's presidential campaign. She was a graphic designer and made a smart move by purchasing a significant amount of Bitcoin when it was valued at $100 per coin. At the time, he didn't follow suit, possibly because there had been previous attempts at internet-based currencies like eCash and eOld. Being more tech-oriented, he was aware of the various #CA's attempts as well. And lots of things Larry Lepard discusses, so please watch the video to end, and share this video and subscribe our channel Everyday Finance. Thanks.
His belief is that, the CIA and the Pentagon get it. I mean, in other words, they read his book. They understand that this is going to be the apex predator of the monetary network, and they get it, and they think we should be buying it. The problem is, the Fed, before the Treasury, government clamped down, Congress, the President, everybody else hates it because it threatens. And he said his their money game and the way they can print it will, and so on and so forth. So you've got kind of competing factions, but not everybody in the U.S. government's stupid. Absolutely, there's a strong possibility that they looked at it and said, okay, this is going to happen either way. Let's at least have it in our system rather than out of our system, so that if we decide in the future that we want to shut it down, we can make 6 phone calls to Fidelity, BlackRock, all the, and say, give everybody back their cash and send the Bitcoin to us, 6102. I mean, it's very possible. And also they know they're going to get the tax income on it, right? I mean, one of the things they hate about it now is, you buy it cheap, you sell it, you don't report it, I mean, it's pretty easy to be, to avoid the tax. And so this way they do get the tax. So I hear you on that, and I agree with that. And I think that's a risk down the road. But having said that, I think the counterweight to that, and why I think they're in general net good, is that they just bring more people into the understanding of what it is, and they will push the price up, and the price being higher will pay for the development of Lightning and all the other things that'll help with the adoption that we so badly need. If we intend to make sats legal tender and denominate most things in sats, we got to have a lot more users. And they help, and this helps, right? Circular economy thing is great. I think spending Bitcoin is great, but I'm with Saylor. This is digital property, and let's win on the digital property argument first. Let's get that one right, and because and stop the monetary debasement and protect people from being stolen from the government every year. If we get that piece right to start with, we can take our time. I mean, I wish we wouldn't. I wish it would go faster to have the payments and the Lightning and all the other stuff around it that you and I both know we need to really make it spendable money and everyday money, But right now it really is a good version of digital gold is the best way I see it. I mean, to me, gold is analog sound money and Bitcoin is digital sound money, and so and let's let it win on that basis. I mean, it'll pass gold here sometime in the next few years pretty easily in my view, and and the other things, those apps will come, the Fedimints will launch, and we'll have more and more Lightning transactions. I mean, I was stunned. Here I arrive in El Salvador. The principle, you're in El Zante, and you're working, and I assume you're probably, I mean, the kind of the currency used here is the dollar, right? You're getting paid in dollars, but not in sats because your employer's not enlightened. You then want to convert those dollars into sats. Can you go to a store and do that? Are there ATMs where you can do that? Is there a broker here that'll help you do that? I mean, how do you do that?
Larry started his career by investing in tech stocks during the booming 80s, capitalizing on the market's momentum, an innovation that defined the era. With his deep understanding of managing venture capital funds, he was always ahead of the curve when it came to technological advancements, ranging from PCS to graphic cards. However, when the dot-com bubble burst, Larry made a strategic decision to change his focus to personal investments and family matters. This shift in direction was not merely a result of stepping back from the tech scene. It represented a move towards a more stable and secure approach to personal finance, akin to that of a financial analyst. After experiencing the 2008 financial crisis, his perspectives were significantly influenced, leading him towards gold and eventually into the rapidly growing realm of cryptocurrencies. This transition was not just about finances. It had a profound philosophical aspect, driven by a strong dedication to libertarian values and Austrian economics. Let's back to the Larry Lepard interview.
I would divide it into a couple of buckets. I think the biggest thing that a lot of people gold people have trouble getting comfortable with Bitcoin on is they're bounded in a history of gold or of money having to have a physical property and being a commodity of some sort. You can touch it and feel it. And there were commodity cycles, and there've been a lot of forms of commodity money. Of course, gold emerged as the superior one, and they can't they have a hard time getting away from the fact that you can't touch it and see it and feel it. And so they can't make the jump from a physical ledger, a physical piece of the ledger to a paper ledger. But yet, what's so funny to them when I push them on this is they've done it in every other part of their life. I mean, if you look at their bank balance, it's not like the bank has the money sitting in a vault. It's just a bunch of zeros and ones on a screen.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? And I also try and use the analogy where I say, look, before mankind even found gold and mined gold and determined that gold was the best form of money, we have historical records of people sitting in caves and putting markings on the wall, tally sticks, and keeping track of shit. And so money is a social obligation. If I have money, I can pay you to give me food or gasoline or whatever I want. And in turn, if I do labor for you, you pay me money for doing the labor. And so it's just an obligation between people. And it's really, money at its base is really just a ledger. It's just keeping score of who owes who what. So why does a ledger need to have a physical property? And so I kind of...
And you think gold people would get that?
You do. And also gold people are generally Austrian economists. And Karl Menger, the founder of the Austrian school, said money is just the most liquid good by definition. And so, it's what has the superior properties that lead it to be a liquid good. And, Bitcoin has superior properties and we're all adopting it. Now, if we weren't all adopting Bitcoin, I mean, money is a shared illusion.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone agrees that a dollar is money because everyone knows you can go into a store and pay for shit with it, and the government prints it fine. Everyone agrees that gold is money. It's been around 5,000 years. It's hard to get it out of the ground. They know what it is. It's shiny. You can see it, etc. And what's happening is everybody's going to one day agree that Bitcoin is money. A lot of us already know that, but some people don't. Some people don't believe that it's money, but the number of those people are shrinking and the number of people who believe are growing. As long as that trend continues, Bitcoin's going to be money. I mean, it already is, but it's going to be, and if you look at its properties, if you look at its characteristics, I mean, that's what led Saylor to go, this is a better weapon. I mean, it's or safe to say, we just invented gunpowder and gold guys have got spears and axes. I mean, fucking gunpowder's going to win.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so I think, but a lot of people are hung up in the physicality. Then I think the other thing to defend my gold friends a little bit, as you watch the whole crypto thing unfold from back to present, there was a lot of fucking bullshit and fraud. I mean, a lot, right? I mean, you had Novogratz, there were a ton of grifters, there were a ton of
there still is in the crypto space.
There still are, right. But my point is, at least, the biggest one is now headed to jail, but I mean, there was so much criminality around all these tokens and, pre-mining and, even Ethereum, which, monetary policy's changed 6 times. I mean, there's so much criminality around all these that, and people, we all live and operate with mental heuristics, right? You just kind of, we don't have time to figure out everything to the nth degree. You just kind of, you look at it, you see a pattern, you go, okay, I know what that means. I'm not, based on that pattern, this is how I'm going to behave, right? I'm not going to go dig deep and figure out that Bitcoin's a totally different animal and it's not crypto. They don't have time for that. They just look at it and go, hey, they're a bunch of fucking grifters, pounding the table here. I know those are bad people. It can't be anything good in that space. And I get that. I understand that. And so
especially when the media lumps Bitcoin and everything.
Well, that's right.
Like you have Ben McKenzie, the guy from the OC that's written the book recently. He showed up here in El Salvador for the conference. He wanted to do some type of hit thing, I'm sure. And we're like, hey, we agree with 90% of what you're saying. You just are confused. You think Bitcoin and crypto are the same thing.
That's exactly
They're
right.
like really on opposite ends of the spectrum.
That's exactly right. And so, and those people have done us a lot of harm.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, I mean, they've really slowed down. They threw sand in the eyes of a lot of people who, might have understood this more easily and better if there hadn't been all that fraud going on. Gary Clipstein, I mean, there are a lot of people who've been out there just pounding the table and calling out these frauds. I mean, hell, there were a lot of us. I mean, I recall being with a bunch of Bitcoiners in Madeira, the first Madeira conference a bunch of years ago, and we were talking about how we knew Sam Bankman-Fried was a fraud.
Yeah.
I mean, Caitlin knew Sam Bankman-Fried was a fraud. She was telling the SEC. I mean, this was not hard to figure out. I mean, go look at his box video where he talks about creating money in a box. I mean, it's very obvious he was a scamster, and yet people didn't see it for a while, and it took time to unfold. But I understand. I mean, when I talk to friends who are normies who have zero knowledge of the space, they immediately say, "Oh, really? That's that thing that Bankman-Fried went to. Is going. They jump to that,
Yeah.
right?" And I say, "You're right. That was really, really, really bad. And there's a lot of that out there. But what you're missing is the signal of this digital innovation, this unique digital innovation, and it's so important technologically what they figured out, the Satoshis, figured out. It really is important."
So do you think that story will just become clearer over time?
Yeah, I do. And I think, I've seen in my gold friend, cohort, I've seen more and more of them slowly but surely coming over. Gee, maybe you're right. I mean, I've seen my investors say, maybe you're right. I mean, I've seen members say, how do I buy this thing again? What's this cold storage thing? I mean, it's as recently as a couple of years ago, I gave a speech at a gold conference. It's funny, I'm not getting invited to gold conferences to give speeches as much anymore because, they kind of think I've joined the enemy camp, I guess. I mean, by the way, I don't see them as two enemy camps.
No,
I see them
synergistically.
yeah, I mean, and we'll get into that in a minute, but I asked the question at this conference, I said, how many of you guys, and this is generally speaking, gold conferences are older people. You don't find 25-year-olds at old conferences, 30-year-olds, 50, 60, 70-year-old people. And I said, how many of you own Bitcoin? Half the hands went up. So, I mean, they're getting there. They're definitely getting there. I mean, that's why, and the other thing I would say to Bitcoiners too, and I say to gold guys, one, don't attack Bitcoiners. They're on the same team as you. But I also say to Bitcoiners, and when Saylor originally came out and was kind of like gold's the enemy, we got to crush gold, I didn't find that constructive. And the reason I didn't was your gold guy is actually one of your easiest converts.
100%.
Because they totally understand the problem. I mean, they get it. They believe in monetary debasement. They know the government's a mess. They know what's coming. What they don't understand is that there's an alternative solution that's superior. And so, with kindness, we need to educate them as to why, okay, I'm not saying sell all your ounces. I'm not suggesting that. I'm just suggesting that having zero Bitcoin, in 10, 15 years, I bet you're going to regret that. So you should definitely start to put your toe in the water and get some Bitcoin. And of course, once you, as we all know, once you put your toe in the water, it's a slippery slope. And pretty soon you become a complete raving orange-pilled nut, like you or me. Right?
Yeah, you rarely see somebody start with a 2% allocation and then decide they want to drop to a 1% allocation.
That's just not the way it goes.
It's always the other
It's just
direction.
not the way it goes. Yeah, I mean, so what do they say? You get Bitcoin at the price you deserve. And so my view is, buy now, avoid the rush, because it's gonna cost more. And I mean, I think it's hard for people to understand this, but everybody thinks they paid too much for their Bitcoin, But when it's $1 million a coin, and being a whole coiner is a big deal, you won't regret that you paid 70 versus 68 or 75 versus whatever. I mean, obviously, the buy of the century, really. And I was buying, but not, I was pretty fully allocated, so I really didn't have any money to buy. But I know some guys who kind of got it late. And then after the FTX, and they bought in heavy at 15.
That was the risk reward adjusted.
What a fucking trade. I mean, I was paying 17 in 2017.
Yeah.
Okay. So here you are.
When there was still a lot more risk.
Enormously more risk, right? Here you are 7 years later, and you got, or no, it was probably 6 years later because 15 was a year ago. No, I think at least, but and you got an opportunity to buy it for 15. Yeah.
I'm like you. I bought a little at that time, but I was already all in.
I was already all in. I was selling what I could of other stuff, but I was already all in.
I was like,
just like Larry's investment attention turned to gold as a result of concerns about inflation that were sparked by the 2008 crisis, leading to the emergence of a new type of investment. an asset began to generate significant attention. Bitcoin, a digital currency, offers many of the same benefits as gold: scarcity, security, and independence from traditional financial systems. My journey into Bitcoin started with curiosity and cautious engagement. I attended meetups and spoke to early adopters. Despite my initial reservations, the growing stability and community support for Bitcoin convinced me of its potential as an investment. It was a new kind of asset that combined the philosophical principles of sound money with the technological advancements I had always embraced in my career. Larry's story delves into more than just financial investment. It explores his ability to embrace new ideas and technologies as we navigate the ever-changing world of digital currencies. His experiences offer valuable insights into the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. Let's explore how these developments could shape the future of money and investment. If you learned something from this video, then please like this video and subscribe our channel Everyday Finance, and we will meet in next video. Thanks.